Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, we ended up getting that direct. Kind of. It wasn't quite the direct everyone wanted, including myself. It ended up being a partner showcase. And before I continue, I just wanted to say that I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a general direct. So sorry if I got your hopes up. It really felt like it was time for a general direct. After all, the Switch 2 just released, but more on that later. I wanted to start with recapping the Direct, talking about what was announced and what I thought of it. So the Direct actually started off pretty strong with Monster Hunter Stories 3. Really, it's a combination between the Monster Hunter series and Pokemon. I haven't played them yet, but I've heard great things. Maybe I'll try 1 and 2 before 3 comes out next year. The next announcement was Once Upon a Katamari. It's part of the Katamari Damacy series. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's a long-running series all the way back to the PS2. I have the 2 remakes on Switch, but I haven't tried them yet. Really cool to see a brand new game in the series though. Little weird we're not getting a Switch 2 version of the game, but I guess it's okay, considering the Switch version will play on the Switch too. And then next up was Just Dance. Don't care, moving on. We then had Dragon Ball Sparking Zero announced for the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. It looks pretty rough on Switch 2, so I can't even imagine what it looks like on the original Switch. Cool to see it announced, but unfortunately it's a game keycard on the Switch 2, so I'm gonna pass. Never played it when it came to PS5 or Xbox last year. My friend Nick loved the game, but he's a huge Dragon Ball fan. We then had a remake of Plants vs. Zombies announced. It also has co-op, which is kind of cool. I never got into Plants vs. Zombies, but maybe I'll check this game out. I know it was pretty big until they did the whole Garden Warfare thing. So it's cool that they're going back to their roots. No pun intended. We then had a spot for EA Sports FC 2025. And it definitely looks like a sports game running on the Switch too. Not much to comment on, I don't really play sports games. Next up were a couple things that I actually thought were pretty cool. Pac-Man World 2 is getting a remake, similar to Pac-Man World a couple years back. I guess it's Pac-Man's 45th anniversary this year, so this is pretty cool to see. I never played it when it came to GameCube or PS2 back in the day, so I'll definitely be checking this out. Unfortunately, it's a game keycard on Switch 2, which seems to be a common theme. I'll probably pick it up for either PS5 or the original Switch, assuming it doesn't run poorly on the original Switch. Although the Switch 2 usually cleans some of that stuff up. Then we had Final Fantasy Tactics Remake. We already knew about this game coming to the Switch 2, but it was cool to get some more information. The game will have full voice acting, which is really cool. It also has a free update if you buy the Switch 1 version. Really hope more developers jump on that trend, especially if most of our third-party games are going to be game keycards this generation. We then had Persona 3 Reload announced for the Switch 2. I already played this last year when it came out, and unfortunately it's another game keycard. And it doesn't even have the DLC packed in. You have to buy that separately for another 30 bucks. And because of all that, even though I love Persona 3, it's a pass for me at 60 bucks. Maybe if they do an actual physical release in the future, I would love to pick it up. We then had a trailer for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and it looks great. It looks like it takes full advantage of the Switch 2 and runs at 60 frames per second locked. I would prefer a true new Zelda game over this, but Hyrule Warriors is still a really cool spin-off. My issue with it showing though is that they're still just saying this winter. We didn't even get any new news on the game. They just kind of said it's here and that's it. It's kind of the same thing they did with Metroid Prime 4 at the Nintendo Switch Direct back in March. Just an odd showing, especially if you don't have a release date yet. We then saw the new Madden for this year. And I'm not the biggest sports game person, so no comment. Looks like a Switch 2 version of Madden though. Next up was Chillin' by the Fire. It's some campfire game for the Switch 2 that uses the camera, and it shadow dropped today, which I guess is kinda cool. I don't really know who this is for though. Maybe if you just want something new to play now that you finished Donkey Kong? I don't know, not really interested personally. Next up was a Switch 2 update for Apex Legends. It's already on the original Switch, so I guess it's cool to have a more optimized version for the new console, but Apex really isn't for me. Next up was Gila, I think I'm saying that right. It's a mouse exploration game for the Switch 2. It looks like mildly interesting, but I'm not really sure what's the hook, like what will draw you to the game. I'm like mildly interested for now though. Next up is Star Wars Outlaws, and I've heard that game sucks. So I'd say pass on the Switch 2, especially because again, it's a game keycard. And from the gameplay we saw, it looks pretty rough. Next we have Chronos: The New Dawn from Bloober Team. They made the Silent Hill 2 remake last year, which I loved personally. One of the best games that came out last year. So I actually think I might pick this up, assuming it's not a game keycard. If it is, probably pick it up on another console. It looks kind of like a Dead Space type game, which makes sense because that's what Bloober does best, is survival horror. But after the masterpiece that was Silent Hill 2 Remake, I'm a little more confident in Bloober than I was before. They may have made some underwhelming games before, but after Silent Hill 2, I have a little bit more confidence. And we don't have long to wait, it comes out in September. After that, we got the announcement of Yakuza Kiwami 2 and the first one coming to the Switch 2. Kiwami 1 was already on the Switch 1, and from what I heard, it's a pretty bad port. Probably the worst way to experience Kiwami 1. I think even the Japanese exclusive PS3 version is better, somehow. But it's cool to see that Kiwami 2 and Kiwami 1 are finding another home on the Switch 2. Will they be game keycards? Probably, but I hope Limited Run picks these up later, as well as Yakuza 0. Those games deserve physical releases, and I think that's what fans of the Yakuza series want. 0, 1, and 2 are all incredible, so having them all on game keycards is criminal. I do like to see though that Sega is offering an upgrade pack if you bought the Switch 1 version of Kiwami. I did buy Kiwami 1 when it went up on Limited Run last year, still waiting on that by the way, so I might pay the extra fee to try it out on the Switch 2. I think it's only $10, so that's not so bad. I'd prefer it to be free, but I will take a paid upgrade over what Sega did at launch. They just wanted you to buy their games again, even if you already own the Switch 1 versions. Baby steps, Sega. Next up was a sizzle reel of some games I think we already knew about, including Borderlands 4, which we just got a release date for, of October, and a Shinobi demo, so I'll definitely have to check that out, because I hear it's a Metroidvania. And then lastly, we had 2 more announcements. The Adventures of Elio, which appears to be a Zelda-like game, like top-down Zelda, or I guess it's also like Secret of Mana. It's made in the HD 2D style, similar to Octopath, and there's a free demo, so I'll definitely have to check it out. It's supposed to come out later this year and looks pretty interesting. We also got Octopath Traveler 0, and it's coming out in December on all platforms. Unfortunately, it's a game keycard on the Switch 2, so I'll probably be skipping that version of the game. I'll probably pick it up on the Switch 1. And that was the Direct. I'd probably say it was like a C-, but I also tempered my expectations. Partner showcases are usually pretty underwhelming. They can have a few good announcements, but it's usually a filler Direct to pass time. Something to hold the fans over until the real main event. But I want to remind you that a new Nintendo console just released, and we have several games supposedly coming out this year with no release date. Summertime is usually E3 time. It's usually the time for announcements. And considering there are all these rumors and speculation of a Direct throughout the entirety of June and July, showing up with a partner showcase is pretty underwhelming. It's not the flair the Switch 2 needs. It's not the reason to own a $450 or even $500 console. And I think that's what people wanted, a reason to own the console. I don't think Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are enough to carry you through the holiday season. They're both great games for sure, but you need more. When's Metroid Prime 4 coming out? We've been waiting 8 years. When is Hyrule Warriors coming out? It was at the Direct, why not at a release date? When's Kirby Air Riders coming out? It's just baffling and confusing. I think we needed third-party support for sure, and I would have liked to see stuff from Microsoft or even Sony, like Death Stranding or Halo or Sea of Thieves or something. But it's just odd. A very Japanese-heavy Direct. Which is fine, I'm a fan of RPGs, but most of the games I can also play on Switch 1. The only difference is, on the Switch 2, I have more power. But you can't even unlock the full power if you buy the Switch 1 version of the game. The Switch 2 version might be the same price, but it's a game key card. You're not getting the full game on card. And that's a blessing in one way because it makes me want to spend less money. But in another way, it's not such a great thing because I want to buy games for my new console that I just got. I might talk about the issue of physical versus digital media in a future video. Let me know if you want to see something like that. I have quite a bit to say on that topic, but it's just annoying. There's only so much memory on the Switch 2. And if you buy 5 or 6 game key cards, your memory's all eaten up. And even if you have one of those express cards, it only lasts so long. Sure, you can just delete and reinstall them, but you're basically just borrowing those games at that point. I know that Nintendo always likes to subvert expectations. They like to surprise us. They like to wow us. And when you think they'll go left, they go right. And when you think they'll go right, they go left. But this wasn't the time for that. This was the time to do just what people expected. A normal, general Direct. Are you trying to sell your console, or are you trying to give people reasons not to buy the console? Don't get me wrong, I was happy to see some of that stuff announced for the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. But without release dates of games we know about, or even new games announced for the Switch 2, from Nintendo, it gives me a lot less confidence in the console that just released. I know we just got Donkey Kong, and that's fantastic, but you need more. I think Nintendo's strategy is to give a game time to shine on its own, without the potential of being overshadowed by another title. And that can work, but it can also backfire. People move on quick now. And now that Donkey Kong has been out for a couple weeks, people want the next big thing from Nintendo. And I don't think third-party game keycards are doing it for most people. If you're trying to sell people on your most expensive console to date, you need to bring your A game. Didn't they delay the Switch 2 so they would have more software? Where's that software? But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Did you love the Direct? Did you hate it? Did you think it was average like me? Thanks for checking out the channel. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. It would really help out. Thanks guys. Bye.